In the previous videos, I have used both words, functions and methods. Is there any difference between these two words? In this video, I will answer this question. Namaste everyone, I am Gyan and you are watching the session 5 of Java and Web, user-defined data types. In this video, we will see the difference between the words functions and methods. Before I tell you the difference between the two words, functions and methods, let me explain what is the current state of an object. For an object, the current value of its instance variables is called the current state of that object. Here we have the class point and the class main is using the class point. The method main in the class main is creating the object of the type point and then calling the method setData of that object. Because of this statement, a new object will be created in the heap with the two instance variables x and y. The initial values of the both instance variables are zeros. This is the object referenced by the reference variable p. So the current value of x and y, that is 0 and 0, is the current state of the object. When we execute this statement, then the values of x and y gets changed to 2 and 3. How this method call works, we already have seen in the previous videos. But after this method call, the current value of the variables x and y gets changed to 2 and 3. So the current state of the object has been changed from 0, 0 to 2, 3. Similarly, because of the next statement, the current state of the object changed to 4 and 5. That's how the class main, an user of the class point, is now changing the current state of the object of type point in these two statements. Here the class main is using the method setData of the class point to change the current state of the object of type point. So if instance value of an object gets changed, then we say that the object has changed its state. Here in this case, the state of an object has been changed by calling a method of the class point. But here in this case, the user of the class point is changing the current state of an object by directly changing its instance variables. Here we are doing p.x is equal to 2 and p.y is equal to 3. User of the class should not change the state of an object directly. But here we are changing the state of an object directly. Users should use various member functions or various methods to perform various operations on the object and to change the state of any object. So that's how the user of the class point, that is class main, should not access the object of the type point directly. It is not a good idea. The user of the class point should always have access on the variable x and y using some methods like this. So now in this context, what is a method? In the session 4 of Java and Web, we studied the methods as flow of control. We considered methods as only subset of instructions. But in this session, in the session 5, the member functions will not be considered as only subset of instructions. The different member functions are ways to input and output of an object. Because as I told you that the directly accessing the instance variables of an object is not good. The class point should have a method using which the user of the class point should access the instance variables of the class point. So the member functions are different methods defined on the objects. Member functions are called methods because those only operations are allowed on the instance variables of that class. If we made all the instance variables as private, then the user of the class point cannot use the instance variables directly. So in this case, the user of the class point is forced to use only member functions of the class point. So whatever the operations are defined in those member functions, that operation only can be done on the instance variables of the class point. So those member functions are called different methods defined on the object. Because only those operations are allowed which have defined inside the member functions. Behavior of the objects are defined by the member functions. Let's see what is the behavior of an object. Here we have the class point which has three member functions, setData, showData and add. So the operations which are defined in only these three member functions are allowed on the point. Since the subtract operation is not defined on the point, so we cannot do the subtract operation. So only these three member functions are defining the behavior of the object point. The object point can only behave like these three methods. The object of the class point cannot behave like subtraction. So these three member functions, these three methods are called behaviors of the class point. Here the methods setData, showData and add are various behaviors of an object of class point. These are only three behaviors defined on it. We cannot have any fourth behavior. State of an object is the current value of internal instance variables x, y and z. State of an object will be defined by only these three variables. We can also say that the point is our user-defined data type with set of methods defined in it which defines its behavior. So these three methods define its behavior. Functions are just subset of instructions to execute. But when you associate these functions as a behavior of a real world object, here the point, then these functions becomes methods on those objects. So now onwards we will use the word methods, not functions. That's all for this video guys. Don't forget to like and share this video, subscribe this channel if you are new, and leave your valuable comments in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.